And here we are, NWF fans. The time has come. I have come here to save you all, ladies and gentlemen, from the wrath of that boring, senile old man, Crusher Crossen, or as I like to call him, Schmucker Crossen. So, as your new main host, I'll be making a lot of changes, alright? But let's get started, This is the first step on a long road, so everyone give it up for my co-host, Schmucker Crossen.
And I'm actually this way. You got to remember, we're mirrored. He's new, folks. He's new, so he has to remember he has to point the opposite direction. Yes, welcome in, Canary Kid. It's great to have a co-host again, even though you insulted me left and right there. But it is good to have a co-host on this show. I think it's going to add to the show, you guys. This is something that I've kind of wanted to do before Canary asked me about this. So I kind of like this idea. And we got lots of questions rolling in. Perfect. Wrestling Revolution Keaton, my tag team partner on Kayfabe with Keaton's in here, I see. And he's got tons of questions coming in. And along with the regular gang, I guess. Well, let me just bring in a few before we kind of get started. And then we're going to kind of go over some of the changes we're doing. But I want to bring in some of these comments that came in. Let's start with Gizmo here. Of course, they all know you. So, Ricky, congratulations on joining the NWF Forward. We are looking forward to your insight into the coming new crop of wrestlers. NWF Fast Forward is lucky to have you as a host, and we see you too, Keaton, referring to Keaton in the chat.
Yes, you're very, very, very welcome that I've taken time out of my busy schedule to sit here with Schmucker Crossen.
Oh, yeah, quick learner.
Yeah,
yes.
I learned.
Yes, sir. And we're going to talk about this a little bit here as far as what Ricky's doing right now as we get to tell you about what we're going to do going forward with Forward. But I'm going to get some more of these comments in. Sky Sports Video News, this is a great mix. We get to see the point of view of two generations of amazing wrestlers. Ricky, with you and Crusher and Keaton in the chat, this is going to be a great show. So there. I agree, yep. Sky Sports.
I somewhat agree, yeah. You said two generations of amazing wrestlers. A wrestler singular, amazing wrestler, and a schmuck.
Well, since you brought it up, I guess we should point out that, that nice little promo you did last week for the channel, you said the show's finally getting a champion as a host. And I hate to break it to everybody, but we are now looking at the former NIPW Junior Heavyweight Champion. He lost that belt last weekend. Am I correct?
You are correct, but here's the thing, Crossen. I don't need something to carry me like you because, I didn't need the championship to carry me, but you need me to carry this show. All right? And that's the reason I'm still back here. So how about you move on to the next question and stop running your mouth, old man?
I mean, you're right. I got a lot of belts to put on my shoulder back there, so you're right. And now I'm carrying you too.
Watch don't break your little crippled back that you have back there.
Oh, he's all full of pissing, you know what? Piss and vinegar. All right. Let's go to the next one. Damian Thorne. And this, I guess, answers your question, Damian. Ricky, welcome to the USA. With eyes of American people on you, are you going to come out as a champion fighter, or are you going to be a heel? And he did spell it the right way, so you can't criticize him there. America wants to love you. Let them.
Damian, you can love me all you want. I'm a lovable guy. I'm not a heel or whatever that means. I'm just an honest guy who says it how it is. And I just don't take kindly to disrespect personally. So, trust me, I am not going to be this heel thing that you're talking about.
Well, there you got it, right from the bird's mouth.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look here. Sports Video says, what is this question? Crusher, thank you for helping put this together. Everyone is excited to see some of the best up-and-coming wrestlers. Canary Kid will make a great co-host. You put together a winning team. Well, I have to confess, this wasn't my idea here. Ricky came to me and asked if he could come on the show he knew I didn't have a co-host on this show. He knows that Dave has me on Rewind, but he wanted to know if he could come on the show. So it was kind of his idea, but the wheels were turning. I was thinking of, it would be nice to have a co-host. And so when Ricky asked, it was just the perfect timing.
And I felt righteous to ask, because as a Christian, we like to help out those less fortunate. So I saw this old poor man struggling to make it on YouTube, so I decided to, put
Uh-huh.
my
Uh-huh.
opinions aside and help him out.
Yep. Yes, sir. Let's go on to the next question or comment. They keep coming. Now, Keaton, I got all your comments. I tell you what, I'm going to save Keaton's comments for when we get rolling with stuff because
Yeah,
he's
is it
got
biased
several,
media?
and I can just kind of bleed them in, and we'll
Yeah.
get to those. Now, what I want
I'll,
to, what's it?
I'll answer some of Keaton's. He's a little bit biased and he's a little bit of
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you're
something.
itching at some
Yeah.
of these questions. Well, we'll tell you
Mm.
what. Let's just so we can get him in here. We'll do the first one. This is an easy one for me. His first question is for both of us, Ricky and Crusher. Who's better on mic as far as promos and stuff? And I'll tell you right now, I'm not even going to argue this. He beats me there. He's got the gift to gab better than I ever did. I'm not even going to try to match up on
You
this.
know, um, smartest thing Crossen's ever said. So it's good he's coming to his senses. No, but in all seriousness, I never actually took the time to see Crossen on a mic. I don't think there's a lot of footage of it. I anytime I've looked at NWF, I've been looking at the matches personally. But honest on the mic, I have no idea how good Crossen is. But all I know is I'm personally quite confident in my abilities on the mic. But again, I still have a long way to go. But I appreciate the compliment for once.
I would be better on the mic today. I just wasn't good back then. People say I was good or okay, but I can't stand listening to my own promos.
But it's the same way people say that you're not a old geriatric nobody. They say that to make you feel better.
Yeah, they sure do. They sure do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about what we're going to do on this show going forward. Now, we're still going to have guests and stuff coming in. Like, that's not going to change. So we're still, as a matter of fact, we got a great guest coming up here in 2 weeks, Mitch the Kid out
Yeah.
of over there in UK. I tell you something, this kid, I've been watching him for a while. He's really good, and I can't wait for that interview. We'll talk more about that when we get to the end of the show.
Yeah.
I got a graphic and everything to show for it. But what we're going to do, we're still going to do our interviews, and we'll be talking to our guests, in advance. Because what Ricky and I want to do is, and this is his suggestion, and I agree, we want to make this a little more entertaining. So instead of just talking heads, we want to have some entertainment factor. That means sliding in and out of character as we've been doing here.
Yeah.
Make it fun, make it exciting. This is what wrestling's all about, right?
Exactly. And the thing is, you don't. I assume that most of you guys, you don't come here just to, as Crossan said, just you don't come here to see talking heads. Like we don't want to be like every other interviewers, every other wrestling sort of broadcaster, podcasts, anything. They're just talking. That's boring. We want to bring a little bit of something. We want a little bit of spice to it, and that spice is the Canary Kid. But yeah, so we're going to make this a lot more entertaining for you. So you're all welcome.
Yeah, and and I like the idea of that. Now we still will get serious, especially when we have guests. We want to get
Yeah.
into some questioning and stuff. Of course, we're going to get serious. And if our guests want to come in character too with us, so be
More
it.
Mario.
Yeah, and we'll have fun with that. I was so hoping with Mitch the Kid, but I don't think I think he lost his belt too. But I was thinking if you guys were both champions, it would be such a great. I would totally want to try to get that matchup somehow to happen. But now that you both lost your belts, I don't know if that's even going to be possible. And the funny thing is, I think you lost it in the same kind of match. It was a scramble with him too.
A scramble?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
If I, I was trying to research him a little bit more, the other day, and I think that's how it went. It's hard with you guys in these indie feds without having any proper channel with constant updates. It's hard to track what's going on. The only reason I know what happened with you is because my good friend Keaton went ahead and sent me the file right away so I could watch the match. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was an unlucky night, but more titles to come anyway, and I'm going to become a 6-time junior heavyweight champion for a certain reason. Because 6 is better than 5. So.
Well, I was gonna say, you were, I guess you were gloating the other day about 140-day streak with that title.
Yeah.
It kind of a little bit of a jinxed yourself there a little bit because now you lost it. And I was gonna say, but if you didn't lose it though, Canary, I was gonna say you'd have to do twice that and add another 100 days to beat my record of a 379 day stretch. So,
Well,
but guess
yeah.
what? You're now closer to 5 times because now you got it once. Now you got 4 more to go there. So
Yeah, well, I guess it's also when you think about the competition, I've got people like John McCann, Ben Nelson, D.D. Crooks coming at me. You had other nobodies like Dixie Dave or whoever was coming
uh,
at you for your title.
it's a good
So
thing that you got that you don't have me coming at you, because if you would have had that belt, I would have taken it so fast it would have made your head spin. But I
you're
can't now.
you're right about something, Cross, and it is a good thing that you're not coming after me because then I don't want to go to jail for injuring an old man. And I was
Okay.
always taught to respect my elders, so I'm trying my best to do that. But you're making it really hard here. So how about we move on? All right.
We move on, but oh wait, we got some more questions coming in. Let's see. Let me get this one in. We already took one of Keaton's. I'm going to blend Keaton's in over time because he kind of got them all up there right away for us.
Yeah, hog in the comments.
Janae Cusks says, Crusher, you have always had great vision. Bringing in Canary is genius. The show will be great. Well, thank you, Janae. You're right there. Great vision. And, with or without my glasses, I did have great vision. And I have to say, I can't argue that.
Yep, I agree. Crossen has the exact same vision as some of the greatest people to ever live, such as Stevie Wonder. Um, the real vision here is me and my influence on the NWF. So, Janae, if you could politely leave and never come back, I would appreciate that.
Well, you know something? Of course, we're talking about today's theme is Crusher versus Canary. Back if we went back to 1986, as I understand it, your promoter isn't a fan of Crusher versus Canary today. And I just got to say, Canary, I was thinking about that, and Nathan is making the right decision here. I actually agree, because Canary, my reputation, I have put people out of wrestling. I pile drive the Tokyo Terror right out of wrestling with my forward pile driver. I drop kicked Kid Kelsey so hard that it nearly decapitated him and dislocated his jaw. So Nathan is making the right decision here. He's protecting his investment by avoiding any kind of Crusher matchup with Canary today. And I have to agree. That is the right decision, because something, guys, and I hate to say it, but if we actually had a match today, I would cripple the Canary Kid. I assure you that. And then what we would have, yeah, I'd be coming out of retirement. This guy over here would be going into retirement. So let's face it, Nathan made the right decision there, and I have to agree. I mean, the bird would fly south for the winner permanently, and we don't need that. He's got himself a good up-and-comer here, I got to say.
Well, I agree. Nathan is indeed protecting you. You talk a lot about your reputation. He doesn't want to tarnish it on you. He doesn't want that. So, how about you we'll let you keep your little reputation of beating up Tokyo Tinkerbells or whatever you were beating up, and I'll go back to actually winning real titles. All right.
Okay, so now, and of course we're just talking today, so let's just put that to bed. But if we went back in time to 1986, so it's interesting. If we go back to 86, I would have been the same age as you, and it's funny enough, and I didn't actually plan it this way. I just realized this today, actually, and I was looking at because I seen, me and Ricky are friends on Facebook, and I see his birthday coming up, and I realized it's 31 days away.
Yep.
Right? The match we watch of me today, we're watching a match of each of us today. My match today that I'm going to show that of me being the same age, I wanted to pick a match at the same age as Canary. Well, it just so happens I was 33 days away from turning 17.
So this is as close as we're going to get.
This is as close as we're going to get.
That's
and
awesome.
And it's also the match where I broke my finger that I've talked about so much. And
Oh, yeah.
and also, something, this is interesting because this match that I'm going to show you guys has never been shown on YouTube. In fact, this hasn't been seen since it was aired over cable television. So this is a first. Like everybody has seen our stuff so much because we've been on the internet for 20 years, but this match, last time it was aired was over cable TV.
So this is what happens when the Canary Kid comes to town. The walls start coming down, curtains go up and flames are going, everything's going crazy. You're getting a first time ever match here on the NWF channel, and this is my influence. So, you know, Canary for main host 2025, that's what I say.
Well, I'll tell you something. I see a comment coming in from Damien, and I'm going to answer that right now with a graphic. But he says, Ricky, what is your age, height, and weight? Crusher, what was your height and weight when you were Ricky's age? So that's what we're talking
Such a
about.
coincidence. This is
Such a coincidence. So let me show you. I did a little tail of the tape, as I used to do back in the boxing days. I thought it'd be kind of fun. Let's take a look at this graphic here. So this is the tail of the tape. If we were to face off against each other at the same age,
This is not fair.
as you can see, Ricky's got a couple inches on me, and he's a bantamweight, where I'm a what the hell would I be? I don't know if it's a lightweight or a featherweight.
A nobody weight, something.
Oh, I can't think of it. Anyways, it's not. It's the next. It's the next weight class down, theoretically. Same age, same years. So there's your tail of the tape. Yeah, he's fatter by about what, 12 pounds?
Oh, we're using fatter as a term. We're using fatter for the scrawny kid here. Nice. Real.
The scrawny kid. Well, you said it. The scrawny kid.
Can I just say, everyone, let's just take into consideration, you can tell Crossen made this graphic as he has picked probably one of the better photos of himself. You know, he's got a bit of definition there, and he's picked a photo of me that looks like I'm just out of bed.
I had struggled to find a picture of you, Ricky, because I'm trying to usually tell a tape, the boxers, they take their shirts off. So I had a hard time finding myself, but finding one with you was actually not easy. I had to steal that from like a match.
Yeah, I have get
my things screenshot of it.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, so that's the tail of the tape. That kind of answers Damien's question.
So I have the advantage, is what we've already realized. So
yeah, 2 inches and 12 pounds advantage. Yep.
I'll take it. Every little helps.
All right, so let's start watching some of the matches, I guess. Let's get into some footage. And we'll start with Canary. Now, what I did is I put together a little kind of what I call a build-up as to why the match he's showing is his match with Halfdan. I believe when you first came back from Canada, right?
Yeah, so, I just take a long break, so, just to keep on consideration.
Yeah, so it was his match against Halfdan, and I put together a little series of how that match became, like what happened, kind of lead up, build up kind of thing, I guess you could say. So we'll watch that, and then it's going to go right into the match with me and Ricky. So let's take a look at this. These little build-ups I put before our matches, they only go for less than a minute, so we'll just watch this, and then we'll get into the watch-along with this match.
This is a challenge to anyone brave enough to come and test their mettle against me.
Oh yeah, he can run through anybody, but you know who he can't run through? That's the Canary. The Canary ain't going anywhere. The Halfdan versus the Full Bird this Saturday. So be at the Lions Den for Northern Irish Pro Wrestling and watch me put that Viking in the ground.
Welcome, wrestling fans. It is Wrestling Revolution. Keep here at NIPW's Underground for today's match is the Evil Viking.
And we're just kind of stealing
Junior Heavyweight
Canary's or Ricky Keaton's intro, but then we go to your footage. This is footage that Ricky actually provided me. Is that audio okay, guys? Let me know in chat if that audio's, if you can still hear me and Ricky now, or if I need to turn it down more. So just let me know in chat. It seems kind of loud. Can you hear it okay?
I can hear it fine.
I just want to make sure they can hear us, though.
Oh, no, I can hear you fine. So.
Okay. So this match was, what, about a month ago?
Yeah, around the end of August.
Yeah. I still think this would be a fun venue. to see in person, and I will see it.
Yeah, it's awesome. The Lansdowne. Those are tonight, actually.
Who are those two little kids out there? They're always into your Canary music.
At the side?
Yeah, in the corner
That's
there.
my brother and nephew.
Ah, that's why. That's why. Because I notice they're always jumping up and down when you're jumping up and down to that music.
Yep, they have a bit of fun.
And they're in the training too, right? Junior training? Keaton?
Well, yes, it's not as often anymore, though, with them both. My brother's just been... I don't know. My brother's fell in love with it, I think, a bit. And my nephew... Well, my brother still likes watching. I don't think he enjoys wrestling as much, but my nephew is just caught up in soccer, which is heartbreaking, but...
Yeah.
He'll realize the error of his ways soon enough.
He's still got many years, though. I mean, like, he can still get into it yet. You know, it's not over if he's just taking a break. So this guy is like a little bulldozer. Half Dan. Well, I mean, he's not tall, but he's like very stocky.
Oh, yeah. Bit like you nowadays, Crossen.
What's that?
I say he's a bit like you nowadays, small and stocky.
Yeah, I guess I'm not what I used to be, but I can still drop kick you.
Yeah. Emphasis on the drop. You would drop.
And gosh, my drop kick now with all the extra weight behind it, holy cow. If I dislocated Kelsey's jaw 38 years ago, I don't know what I'd do today.
I don't know what you do to your hip nowadays.
This guy, he's not exactly a spring chicken either. He looks like he's, in his 30s?
He's 25.
25? God, he looks older, that look.
Funny story. Ben Nelson, Jordan Nelson, Ben Nelson's big brother, was talking to him, and it was actually Mrs. Nelson, their grandmother, thought he was 50.
Well, I mean, I was going to say 30s. I mean,
but the funny thing is, he's 3 days older than Jordan.
Yeah.
And yeah, Mrs. Nelson thought there was a 25-year age gap, which is hilarious.
The one difference I will say, just watching your match and when we go to our matches, these are different eras, everybody. It's a different style of a match just because of the time period.
That's what I'm seeing a lot. I love going back and watching, your time period. It was a lot. It's fun to see how the other side did it.
Yeah.
Back in the caveman times.
It's so much more holds and counters and reversals today than it used to be. I mean, I did it a bit, but I mean, it was a lot more spot wrestling. Your spots for your moves.
Back in your day, there was a lot more like dinosaurs invading the ring and stuff, and like, what was it, cavemen running around with clubs and stuff. So it must have been difficult.
Wow, this guy looks like a caveman.
Oh yeah, he's actually more of a Viking, but yeah, he gives off that vibe. He is one angry Viking, and yeah, he is now the current, for now, junior heavyweight champion. So good for him.
With that short ring, has anybody ever suplexed anybody and they got too close to the ropes and you caught your feet on the ropes?
Well, here's the thing. I've never actually witnessed it, but the thing is, we are trained in this ring from the ground up. So this is all we know until we go out elsewhere, or until we go to bigger venues where we use our 16 foot, because we have a second ring.
Right.
But we're talking inside of a 14 foot, which is what this is. And I think it's a lot better of an idea because it teaches people how to really make the most out of what they have. So it means when we get into bigger rings, our position is perfect. Because, we're used to working really tight. So when we're constant being in the middle, like even there, you notice when I'm kicking out of things, I'm pushing myself to the middle with it. Like I have these little ways of getting myself to places as quick as possible because of how small it is.
I was thinking too, more like when you get people on the outside that come in from other areas not used to it.
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
They mess up and realize, oh shit, I got a small ring here.
Yeah, it's actually very rare though that you hear that, because in the UK, the smaller rings are a lot more common than you think.
Yeah.
It's more 16 foots are the common ones, but you wouldn't be surprised to see a 14 foot. But when people come, it's very rare that we hear the other person it's small, but a couple of people have said it, but they've always been fine.
I know when we went from our 20-foot ring to Eddie Sharkey's 16 back in the day, that kind of messed up my timing. I wasn't used to it. Because
A
I was so
20 foot.
used to the 20-footer. Yeah.
I mean, I've never been in a 20 foot before. I think the biggest I've been is 18 over in Canada. I think I was 18. It could have been 16. I was totally 18, but it felt like a 16.
Well, I had been
Um,
in small rings before. We started out really small, and our rings just kept getting bigger and bigger, as we did the show. But we had done it so long in the 20-footer, we never went back to these small rings.
oh yeah.
And so it was I just remember that timing in that, and like, well, I'll show you in our match. We'll get back to that. I'll point out how about the timing got messed up in a certain sequence that I did. But
Notice how I've not messed up.
so here's a question from Janae.
All
Says, what are the differences between the two eras?
right. Well, if I could answer this, I think, from what my information is anyway, Crossen's era was a lot more based on the characters, and I think a lot more based on who was in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, nowadays, although it's still a bit of that, it's a lot more the content of what's going on in the ring is a lot more important of what people do in the ring rather than who's in the ring, and it's a lot more based on like outdoing each other. Meanwhile, in Crossen's time, it was, as he said, a lot more spot, like working through different parts and showing what each other can do. Meanwhile, this one is trying to one up each other a lot more, I think, personally.
Yeah, I don't even know if I can add to that. That's really what it is. And well, I guess I would say another difference in the era of Ricky is they're much more technical than we used to be. In the 80s, it was all showmanship. So you're trying to show your moves and everything, not to be so much a spot monkey, but it was just a trade-off, move for move, in a series. Where here they do a lot of integral reversals and wrist, just a lot of British Bulldog stuff, wrist lock, arm throws, all that kind of stuff.
Well, I think that happens a lot more in the UK anyway. And it happens so much in the UK, especially because of World of Sport. World of Sport wrestling, for those who don't know, for like the American viewers who haven't like looked into British wrestling, which is normal. That was basically all about your sport, like wrestling. Like it was all, holds being treated and all of it being. It was legit. Like those guys were tough guys. They did it great. I love watching a bit of World of Sport. And the thing about World of Sport, it had a massive influence on the UK scene even today, because a lot of those people from World of Sport went on to become trainers, and those trainers taught the ways of the old school British technical wrestling, and or as I would call it, Shane. Yep, bit of sliced bird. But yeah, so there we go. I win. Haha, bit of shock.
See, look at the kids. See them right away.
But yeah, the technical thing, I think, is because of the influence that World of Sport had, and then you have legends like we're all based on their technical styles, teaching so much. It's gonna happen. Like you're gonna have such a mad influence, and then when you had people like Brian Danielson and stuff who would go on to get taught by these British legends, and Nigel McGuinness who would come to the States, like a lot of British wrestlers would come to the States like Regal and show off their technical style, that then led to the influence of having American style, which is also technical wrestling. They don't do it as good as us here in the UK, but we used to do it pretty good, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, we seen it with Billy Robinson in the early 80s. He was always, and he was from England, so he had all that.
Mm-hmm.
But but it wasn't prominent, though. You didn't have a lot of those matches like in the 80s. So, I remember like Steve, Lord Steve Regal, when he'd have those matches with Ric Flair, and they would start getting like that in those technical series. But yeah, no, that's kind of. Before we get to my match, let's see. Let's get one of Keaton's questions in again. Let's see, which one did I do? Okay, we did the Mike one. Okay, so then his next question was, who was stronger at age 16?
If we're talking physical strength, I'd probably have to go for Crossen. I'm, as he said, a lot more based on technical style and what I can do ability wise. which has led probably is another part on why I'm not the strongest guy in the ring, but I can still go. But yeah, I would definitely give it to Crossen on that one. I've not, let's just say I'm not known for my strength, but mental strength, I win.
Yeah, I used a bit of strength. I mean, I powered my way through a lot of things. I wasn't always a high flyer. So I kind of agree. I think Ricky was more technical though, more technical savvy than I was. So like they say, remember this, Keaton, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. So strength is just an asset that you can or can be used against you. Let's see. So now let's go look at my match. Now this match, I'm gonna give you guys a little disclaimer. One of the cameras wasn't white. This is a pro edited shot, so there's 3 cameras rolling, edited together. But one of the cameras was not white balanced, and it was like dark red. It just looked hideous. So I fixed it as best I can, but it's definitely going to be a little darker. So one of the shots will be kind of darker, just so you know. Nothing I can do about it, but is what it is. So yeah, let's take a look at the build-up for this match, like I did with Ricky, and then we'll go into this watch along with my match. Now remember, this is when I was his age. Why do I keep doing? You jinxed me on this now. When I was his age.
Oh, wow.
And
I need to learn.
16, almost 17, and for this match. So let's take a look.
Crossen was down on the mat for 3 pounds. That's it. Then we have a new junior heavyweight champion, Mr. X.
A new champion, Crossen, taking what is rightfully not his. Mr. X declared the new champion.
My shoulder was wide up. It was up 10 inches. And Mr. X, you better just step aside and look out, because like I said, I'm not in a good mood right now, and you got the title right now. That's fine. Well, I'm going to have it afterwards. And that's it. Thanks, man.
Crusher Crossen saying he is going to be the champion for the 5th time.
Our next match.
All right.
Our next match will be Crusher Crossen versus Mr. X. This has to be a wild one, CJ.
Well,
I don't know how long these two...
There we go.
But I know
Does that sound good?
that Mr. X does know how
Still
to
hear
defend
it?
himself. And
All
Crusher
right.
Crossen...
All right. Bulldog the Butcher, CJ Pregler. That's Jamie McParlin out there before he joined the show. In that tanker shirt.
That was a controversial pin in Champlin.
This is in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, everybody. This is what you've seen there. You've seen me lose the belt to Mr. X at the Champion Legion and Eddie Sharkey's card. And now we're in Brooklyn Park. Canary, I can't see you. There you are. Ah, you went away again. You come in, then you come out.
Because the video, I flipped my camera so much.
I just can't see you though.
Yeah, I know, I'm still trying this at this moment.
All right, so as I was saying, Mr. X is the champion. He's got the belt. We're in Brooklyn Park Armory for this one.
Alright, I'm going to rely on everyone else here to tell me what's going on. It is frozen still for me. So, guys, just fill me in.
Oh, so the camera thing didn't work?
Nope.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match is officially started.
Usually you just toggle your camera once. It should fix it.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do is just go to YouTube and watch it as easily enough too. See, this is that shot that was really dark that I told you about.
I can assume.
Can you see it now?
Nope.
Try switching your camera again. I'm pretty sure it'll work.
I've done it 8 times. Like, oh god.
But I have to like him because he's on the good side of us.
Rick Pitts. Is that Rick Pitts reffing? Yes, it is. I don't know if he's sober, though.
Mr. X against Crossen. Mr. X parts on.
All right, Mr. X.
Weight unknown, but it's got to be around 135, if you ask me.
All right. Yep, still frozen.
Huh. I don't know why it's doing that.
Crusher Crossen is a former. Look at the guy can't even hold a title there.
So Mr. X got. That's Ken Boyer, the late Ken Boyer, the announcer there.
Oh, is that the old guy? The old guy?
Yeah, he's older.
Okay, because it like froze on him, because it keeps like frozen at different frames.
Oh, so it's like kind of staggering?
Yeah. Great start to the show, guys. With me as the co-host. Technical difficulties come.
I wonder if it's because I think it was because I was locked on the video. I think maybe it'll work now if you switch it.
Okay.
Because I think I had my mouse over the video, and that screws it up when I do that. All right. So what are we at here?
Scrambling back into the ring. Cheering on the ex-champion, hoping he can retain that title.
Good hip lock takedown by Mr. X.
You might not like the guy, but he certainly knows wrestling.
And of course, Mr. X, everybody, that's Steve Engstrom. That's the, he was what, 26, 27 at this time? They're working for you, Ricky?
It's like a recurring nightmare. Bobby Ferrari, here he comes.
I don't know why it's doing that. We're going to have to fix that, though, when we get guests and stuff, because you got to be able to see that stuff.
I have no idea.
Because I think if you have, you can always go to YouTube's link. If you have YouTube, you can go to the channel and you'll see it, obviously.
I saw with Pretty Boy Taylor. This guy's brutal. He's as big.
Yeah, they keep talking about the Luscious Larry match, which comes up after this match. That's the only thing I don't like about Ken Boyer, commenting about some other match. This is like, yeah, like a straight arm bar. These are the kind of moves we would do, you know, compared to what them guys do. Going to a leg drop.
We did a lot more. I blame ECW for this.
And I'm going to show you guys when I break my finger here. It's coming up. And I'll tell you something. That hurt like a son of a bitch. I don't know if anybody's ever broke their finger before, but I can still remember how it feels, and it's been 30-some years. Knee to the chest.
What's the time limit on this match for live?
I had just got the wrestling boots, too, for this match. I remember that. I just got them in. I was so excited to actually finally have wrestling boots.
I had dinner with James J. Wilson, commissioner of the NWF.
All right.
We're going over some of the contracts with a nice card.
What do we got here? This match, like, compared to Ricky's match, this match probably went another 3 minutes longer. It's pretty much the same length. Is this it? No, this is the clothesline. I thought maybe that was when I did the power. So when I do a power slam is where I break my fingers. So I'll kind of keep an eye on it when it happens. I'll let you guys know. But all I know is that hurt like a son of a bitch, and you'll see me constantly grabbing my hand because it hurt. And it's like a throbbing pain. And here I broke it in 3 places. I found that out the next day. Snap mirror. We did those moves a lot back then.
I'm sure Miss Crossen was very happy with that.
What's that?
I'm sure Mama Crossen was very happy to hear about that.
Ah, she didn't. She, as long as I didn't do anything more than that, I mean. Here's that forward pile over that put the Tokyo Terror out of wrestling, but Mr. X survived it here. anytime somebody has a mask, it's always fun to go after the mask. So there'd always be a, like I did there, we'd always do that every now and then just to give the fans something to get excited about. They always want to see the mask come off. So this ring, though, Canary, like we were saying, this is a 20 by 20 ring that you said you'd never been in one, but
Yeah.
I don't know, Kenny. He's one of the mysteries of the NWF.
And it's an old breakdown ring, so it's got the center spring in the middle.
Sets him up. Now, wait a minute,
And again, I'd always go off the top rope a lot of times. Although he lifted his knees on me on that elbow drop.
Any words to share with us, Mr. Ferrari? I'm not worried about that joke.
And our ring was only 2 feet off the ground because it was a shorter ring to get into different venues and stuff that had low ceiling heights.
Okay.
So got to see a lot of different places, bars and stuff, like the dry dock.
Is this a match for NWF or for Eddie Sharkey?
No, this is NWF.
Okay.
Yeah. Eddie's ring was a bit taller. His was like 3.5 feet off the ground.
And so roughly how many people did you usually have for these kind of shows?
Well, this show here was kind of a luck. Wasn't one of our better crowds. We had maybe 40 or 50 people here. Usually we'd have hundreds, you know, like that show that at Eddie Sharkey that we had that lead up to this thing that I showed. That was like a packed house. That was like 200 and 300 people in there.
Jeez.
Champ and Legion. Yeah.
Nice.
So there, that's this power slam, you guys. You see me holding my hand. Its fingers freaking broke right now, and it hurt. And like what do you do? You gotta keep going. There's like, no, I can't stop. So I gotta finish this match with a broken finger, and it hurt like a bugger. God, did that hurt? I can remember.
How did
it happen? So I did a power slam, and as I did the power slam, I jammed my finger underneath his back, slamming him on the power slam. That's what happened. I should have got my hand out of the way, you know, after I came down, right? Just pulled my hand out. I didn't, and it got jammed.
Oh, that's great.
So, yep. And what are we doing here? This is the Leapfrog series. Yep. And that picture perfect drop kick, everybody. I love watching that. Elbow drop off the top. And then we do the hamstring pull, something that you guys don't do anymore. We loved doing the hamstring pull back then.
Hamstring pull?
Yeah, it's the guy's on his back, and you grab his leg, and you kind of pull his whole leg back, and you're pulling on the hamstring, basically. It's called a hamstring pull.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's an 80s move, you know.
I think that's more really wrong.
Yeah, it's like when I do a flying body scissors. Still froze up on you, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Why that's doing this? Now this is like some people call this a figure 4 arm lock. It's a chicken wing, basically. I used to do this a lot. And it's really good for a heel because when they're standing up, it's an easy way to grab the back of their hair and pull them down. But I always did it. I always did it by the rules. I never pulled any hair.
Oh no, you're too nice.
See, I'm still holding my hand because that finger is just, and you know what's happening is my finger's just swelling up right now, and it's like, and it's just so it's hurting more and more and more.
Yeah, for me, like, because I'm saying it's like a PowerPoint of like different like frames, like all the frames there was just you sitting like this.
Yeah, that's what it pretty much is.
I have no idea here. This could be a match that could like be like the greatest match I've ever seen, or you know, it could be something I can make fun of Crossen for years to come. So,
well, you'll have to watch it and replay. Then you'll be able to see it. Then you can comment next time.
Then I'll come on the show and be like, Cross now, so watch match and watch.
There's a flying head scissors. Before Eddie told me the proper way to do it. That's my way of doing it, which Eddie says, no, you got to do it different. So he corrected me on that one.
So flying head scissors, as in like the one where the person like catches you up like this.
Yeah, that's like Eddie. That's the traditional way where you kind of run into them and then they catch you and then you roll through it.
Okay.
The way I did it though, and this before Eddie showed me how, is I used to just come up alongside you and I'd leap up, wrap my head scissors on you, and roll you over.
So you just stand there and just jump?
Just jump up and do it, yeah.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea.
It works. I mean, it worked. It just doesn't look as good, you know? It looked much better when you do it the other way.
Well, a rusty wrench works as well, but you'd rather have a one that actually. That's what a kid.
And as you can see, I went 19 days without that belt, and I got it back. And now I once again am in the title holder. I will go on another. What did I do? 247 more days with the title after this. And then Kelsey just came out and shook my hand, and I remember I said, I remember exactly what I said to him. I said, I effed up my. How did I say it? I effed up my finger, but I didn't say effed up.
Yeah, you said the word.
I said the word.
And you put emphasis on it. I can already tell it was you know.
Yeah, because it hurt. Oh, did that hurt?
You fudged up your finger real bad. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, and it was just hurting and that's why I went to the doctor the next day, because I knew something was not right. And they x-rayed it, and he says, yeah, it's broke. I said, oh, really? And he's like, I said, compound? He's like, no. So it wasn't broke. It wasn't a compound fracture. It was just fractured. And he says, but it was fractured 3 places. So I had 3 fractures.
Was it not a question of how?
Hmm?
Did you not get the question of how did you do this? You know?
Oh, I think I told him.
Okay.
Yeah, there was I just told him I was wrestling. He didn't know. Probably thought I was wrestling in the backyard. He didn't know what I was talking. I didn't tell him I was in an actual match or anything like that. But
yeah, I have had 2 visits to the doctors concerning me doing wrestling, and both times it's been like, how did this happen? And I'll be like, oh yeah, I was wrestling. They go, wrestling? You know, huh? I'm like, yeah. And there was this time I had this doctor, I forget where he was from. He told me where. I can't remember, but it was somewhere in Africa, and it was so funny because he just kept calling me champ because I was a wrestler. So, and I think it was ligament damage. He was like, "Oh, you got ligament damage in your foot, champ," and all like. I was like, "Oh my god, what is happening right now?" Just kept calling me champ, and then hit me a little tap on the shoulder. I was like, "Oh."
Well, the only time it was kind of awkward is when I cut myself too deep and I had to go get stitches. You know, we were juicing back.
That was a great conversation you had to have.
Yeah, and so here I'm in my wrestling gear and everything. I can't lie. And he's like, and the doctor said, how'd this happen? And I said, well, I think I got my head hit in the turnbuckle, and I think I was a wire hanging out, and it caught my forehead. It's the only thing I could think of saying. I wasn't going to say I took a razor because I didn't know what that would do insurance-wise, you know? So I said, that's what I told him. And the doctor knew, though, because he's like, yeah, this is a pretty fine cut for that, but we'll get you taken care of.
Oh, I'm sure.
So he knew. He knew.
He knew what was happening, but he wasn't going to mess around with it. That's probably the best thing, you know.
Right. Now, let's get to some of Keaton's questions here, Ricky, because I want to make sure we get them all answered.
Yeah.
Along with everybody else asking questions. So his next question was, who was the baddest heel?
Well, question was Crossen a heel?
I've been a heel. There's been times, but not that match.
I had a short stint, emphasis on short stint of a heel. I am not a heel at all. I'm the nicest guy you ever meet. So, it is like a who's less bad at doing the job. You know, I have no idea what Crossen was like in his day, but how could someone hate the Canary? You know.
Well, I would whenever I did heel, I always took my page plan out of Bobby Heenan's book. I just do what he would do. If people are saying stuff, I block my ears. I didn't want to hear it. I would just antagonize them all the more, and that would just make everybody chant all the more. So
it was my favorite time I ever worked in a heel was we all went to Portugal around the start of this year in February. Yep, and it was me and Didi Crooks, and I was with him at the time. And the first night, so we worked 2 nights in a row. The first night was in a bar. I worked the match. I wasn't like heel or face. I just kind of worked. Probably more heelish show because I was getting a beating. And then the second night comes round, and based off my performance in the first night, the guy was like, "All right, I wasn't the promoter, Tiago." He was like, "I think it's Tiago. I really hope." I always just call him Red by his wrestling name, but I thought it'd be formal there. I'll just say Red. Red, the promoter, was like to me. He came to me and he's like, like you did last night. I have an idea. I go on, and he goes, "You're going to be Didi's manager." And I looked at him and I was like, "So okay, easy night for me. I don't have to work. I don't have the bump, and I just get to talk. Okay, great. It's my favorite thing to do. I love talking." So, we go out there, and just before I go out the curtain, I turn to like their top guy. He's called the Brave Wrestling before I love the guy. And I was like, what's some things I could say to really get this crowd riled up? Like, what's some personal Portuguese stuff? And he's like, well, you see, we're on the south side. They hate the north side. Talk about the north side. I was like, okay, what else don't they like? And he goes, well, when it comes to soccer, they support this team. If you talk about this team, they don't like that. Oh, perfect. So I went out and started saying how we're in the slums and how I wish I was in the north again and how that's where I love to stay. And then I started saying, this other team's the best football team in the world. Your football team sucks. It was just that. And it was the cheapest heat. But as soon as I said that, the crowd were on me. I got so many swear words shouted at me from the crowd telling me to shut the F up. But, as you said earlier, without the F,
Yeah.
I was getting everything flowing at me. And then later in the match, it was funny enough, it was Dylan against Red, the promoter. And I said to Red before the match, because I had these like sunglasses I bought from a street vendor that were like really smug sunglasses that I got to be able to do like all these like poses with. And I was like, Red, smacked them off my face at one point. And he goes, oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. So we get out there. And the whole match is just me keep doing like little like smart things. Bobby Heenan, as you were saying, I was just doing like little Bobby Heenan things, really cheating, being like, I don't know what you're talking about, walking away from the ref, not wanting to hear him. And Red gets pulled to the outside by me, and the ref has his back turned, and I slap him. And I start showing out to the crowd, and all the crowd hate me. I turn around, he just slaps, and the glasses into the crowd. I didn't get those glasses back. They got smacked into the crowd. I was on the floor. The crowd erupted. One of the greatest pops of the night. I was very proud considering that I was just the manager. We got a huge pop just for me getting a slap, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun managing. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to get them going. Let me see. Let's see what these comments. I'm gonna get caught up in the comments, and then I'm gonna get to some of our comments about what if would happen if me and Canary met. We'll talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But Sports Talk 117 says one of the biggest differences that stand out is the era. Crusher made it wearing a half t-shirt and tube socks and shorts. Canary had a full wrestling outfit with tights, boots, and a wrestling theme. Well, this is before he's seen the match. Remember, I'm comparing us at the same age. Yeah, you're right. When I was 14 and 15, it was tube socks and stuff because that's what we didn't have anything. But we eventually got tights and boots and everything. So that's before Sports Talk actually seen the match. Janae Cusk says Crusher may have been 5-time champion, but Canary is Belfast hide and seek champion for the last 3 years running. And then they say Peekaboo Ricky. So maybe somebody that knows you.
Do I have something here on the sentence? Can I kick them out for the disrespect? I don't think that should be allowed in here personally.
Fortunately, you don't have controls, so yeah, you can't do that.
If you ask me, I think they should pipe down personally.
And then Keaton just wanted to say he's going to go to bed. He's going to watch the rest of the show in the morning.
Yeah, so you get to bed, kid.
He's calling it a draw as far as his opinion on who would win.
He just doesn't want to hurt your feelings. I know what he means.
And then I think we're caught up on comments. There's a few more from Keaton yet. Let's just take one more of Keaton's. Actually, let's just get them out of the way. All right. His next question is, who got the most pops?
Personally, I would give it to myself. I don't know if I'm being biased here. Again, I've seen myself wrestle a lot more than I've seen Crossen wrestle. I think it's the same both ways. But I'm quite proud of the pops I've gotten from the day I first walked out the curtain.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of fun. I think my entrance music feeds into that a lot. My entrance music starts with the "Say it with me, B-I-R."
Yep.
And when the crowd hear the "Say it with me," does hear the and the B. It all goes together, and I get a bit of goosebumps. And my favorite thing to do when that starts going is to look at someone backstage who's like their first time in our show, and I just look at them and be like, "You hear this? You hear this? All right." And then I go out there, I'm the guy. So yeah, I have fun with
Yeah.
that. But what would you think?
I mean, it's not that I didn't get pops, and I got booed once, and I shouldn't have. But I mean, no, I got pops. But I don't know. I think. Gosh, that's a hard one to answer because we both got pops a lot. I did, but I didn't get the most pops in our show. Our league, the guys that got the biggest pop was not me. It was our Super D's tag team, our lightweight twins tag team, the two blonde haired kids. They got the biggest pop of anybody, and I think it was because of the look. They're just two little twins that everybody loved. They had that look, and you got 10, what were they, 11 or 12? The Super D's got the biggest pop in the big shows that we did, always. So,
Well, that's fair. I don't know who gets the biggest pops on our show. Our show's quite evenly distributed. Obviously, someone will get the biggest pop of the night. Like to their entrance, there'll be nights where someone wants to see Canary Kid more. They want to see John McCann more, Chris Mercer more, Stevie Fee more. Like there's a lot of good guys. Dave Gordon. There's so many good guys who people want to see. Obviously, there's no bad guy gets the biggest pop of the night. I'm sure it was the same in your time.
yeah.
The bad guy never gets the biggest pop of the night because a good bad guy makes people love to hate him. So even
Right.
if they do deep down like the person, are going to give it a little boo, just to try and get a reaction. So it's stuff like that. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun with the pops I've gotten in my career. I fear things a little bit of a pop.
So now I'm going to talk about this match. What would happen if we met? Now this is, and I thought about this. So what I'm going to do, Ricky, I'm going to tell you. We've been talking in character and stuff. Now I'm done talking to Canary Kid. Now I'm talking to Ricky Henry.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk about, because we're just working, you guys. Okay. Believe me, I have a lot of respect for him and he does for me.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you how the promoter would, me back in the day, if Ricky somehow came into our scene and was going to go up against me when I had the belt, how I would book this match. And then I'm going to have you do the same thing.
Okay.
But the way I would do this match, I know exactly how I would do this. Knowing the style that he has, and the fact, now this works better if I'm a heel, but it can be done as a face. It can be done as a face versus face. This is just the way I would go. And what I would do is, since I have the belt, I would have we used to do this all the time for our cable show. We'd have, we call them TV time limit matches. So it's a title match, but there's a TV time limit of 15 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever the case. So let's just say it's a 15-minute time limit match. The way I see the match going would be a back and forth seesaw match. So like series of moves, counter, pin attempt, kick out, right? Back and forth. They do a series. It goes one way, goes the other way, goes the other way. We keep doing that. But then as we get closer to the end of the match, they're going to start announcing, okay, 10 minutes left or 5 minutes left. And the pace starts picking up. And we keep going. We're going to go a little bit faster now. And then we get to 3 minutes. And now it's really heating up. And now at this point, at about 3 minutes, is the point where I now am in defensive mode. Ricky is in offensive mode. It's all him. So what it would be like cover 1, 2, kick out. Then he does another series. And then cover 1, 2, foot on the ropes. And then whatever, I just keep breaking it. And then they're continually announcing 1 minute left, 30 seconds left, 20 seconds left. And of course, the fans are just on their feet. They want to see this happen. They want to see him win. And so finally, he does whatever his finisher is, if it's the Canary Cutter. And there's 5 seconds, there's 4 seconds. He covers 1, 2, gets the 3 count. The bell rings, and everybody's excited. But then the announcer says, ladies and gentlemen, the match is a draw. The 3 count came after the time limit expired. That is exactly how I do it, and I'll tell you why. Because it's just begging for a rematch.
I like it.
So that's what I would do. That's how I would book Crusher and Canary.
Well, for me, I spoke to you and John after the last show. I am a huge fan of the idea of promoting. One thing is though, right now, I don't know if you guys noticed, I started writing a couple notes of what I would do because that threw me off guard. I did not expect this. I need at least like at least an hour to think of what my idea would be because I
Yeah,
love those little details.
to my credit, I had time to think about it, and I didn't give Ricky a heads up. I wanted to tell him about it at the beginning of the show, but he got in here a little late. So
I did, yes. Training ran later than usual
yeah.
tonight. But what I've gathered is I would want to do it in the NWF setting rather than the NIPW setting, simply because of and also I'd want to bring it back to me going to your time than you going to my time.
Okay.
Like I would want to go back to
To old
86.
school.
Yeah. And as we've spoke about before, one of the biggest ways of getting heat would have been a foreigner. And that would be my thinking. I would want to go there as the outsider whose idea is I want to take this championship and bring it back to glorious Northern Ireland, the beautiful streets of Belfast. It's not beautiful.
So you want to bring the Lord Stephen Regal attitude.
That's the idea. I would go full heel on this place, and your whole thing I would want it to be is you are NWF and you're protecting NWF and you're going to make sure that people like me don't become champions. That'll be the whole idea. You don't want people like me coming in here and taking what's rightfully yours and an opportunity that could be given to an NWF guy. So that's what the idea would be. We would go, the crowd would be in there, we would go, and I liked your idea. I want a time limit, right? This match is going. Same idea as yours. We slowly pick up the pace, we pick up the pace, we pick up the pace. But the idea is I am desperate. I am doing everything it takes to try and get a pin. There's a lot of roll-ups for me. Just keep trying to get roll-ups. I'm pinning it after every move because I'm so desperate to get this championship and rub it in your face. Then comes to the latter stages, and this is where I've gone a bit crazy with my ideas. Ref gets dropped, right? We're going Jeff Jarrett, we're going the Rui. Ref gets dropped. And I have that moment where I grab the belt. I look like I'm gonna hit you. I go to throw it, you duck, I'm holding the belt, drop kick me, I drop, right? Oh, the crowd are on their feet. Crossen just dropped him. Crossen just dropped him with his drop kick. You start scaling to the top. What do you know? John McCann runs out, right? We're going crazy on this. Ref's still down, right? Ref got dropped with a super kick or something. You're up top. John clocks you off the top. Oh, John's in the ring now. Oh, it looks like he's outnumbered. The odds are stacked against him. Bang! One of your guys comes in, whether it be Dixie, whether it be the Super D's, whether it be someone runs in there, clears John out of the ring. It's back to me and you. They fight all the way to the back. It's back to me and you. And then we basically work into you getting the win and you having your big moment in front of the crowd going crazy and you holding up the title. Yeah, NWF, I think that would be a nice way to do it.
It's funny. Both of us had the same idea, though, of going all out at the end there, trying to get that pin because I love those kind of finish. I used to, I'm stealing that from the AWA when I did my version because that's what they would do with Bockwinkel. He was supposed to go against some schmuck jobber, but wait a minute, we got Brad Rangens, and these are like an Olympic wrestler. He's like, wait a minute, this wasn't supposed to happen. And then Heenan's all upset in the corner as the manager, and they do this match where it gets down to the time limit like that, where shit, he would have won if he just had one more second. And I love those kind of finishes. They don't do that anymore. Those are cool.
No, in our time limit, we had to have a winner in our one.
Yeah. So that's interesting though to hear the different variations of how we would do the match. And
again, I really liked your idea, but again, I can't copy, so I had to change it up. And my idea would be, if I'm coming over talking about how great NIPW is, it'd be cool to have another NIPW guy running and try and be like.
Oh, I like the idea of John McCann, but what I do there, just to tweak that a little bit, when John interferes and I'm on the top rope, I'd have him just grab my leg and let me drop, nuts on the top rope, and then it sets you up to do a power, a press slam off the top rope.
Yeah,
I would just do that little twist there. But yeah, I think that would be fun. I will tell you this: if we did meet back in time, it would be one hell of a match. I guarantee you that.
We would have a lot of fun.
Yes, it would. It would be a lot of fun.
If only.
Right, but that's like wishful thinking, guys, because it's just we're too far apart. And even if we did have a match, guys, first of all, I'm getting too old for it. But even if we did, it wouldn't be the same. It would be much better if we could go back in time and do it like we talked about.
Both in our primes, it would be a lot better.
Let's see. We got Gizmo just put a comment in here. Let's see what he's saying. What do you guys think? You just heard me and Ricky give our renditions. Tell me what you guys think as far as what you'd like to see happen in a match. Gizmo says, it is fair to say Crusher was one of, if not the best wrestlers in his company. How does Ricky stand compared to the other wrestlers in his company? So he's talking about NIPW.
Well, the Canary Kid in me would say I'm the best, and I'm this, and I'm that, and no one can stand me. But if I'm going to be honest, in the ring, I'm not the best. On the mic, most likely not the best. I'm up there, not the best. Charisma, again, I'm up there, not the best. I don't think I'm the best at much things, but what I am the best is at being an all-rounder. A lot of people have 2 out of the 5 boxes ticked. I have almost all 5. I've got 4, 5th one being muscles. Don't have that one ticked, but I've got 4 ticked. I can go. I'm confident in my abilities. I'm confident in my talking abilities. I'm confident in making people feel emotion when I'm in the ring. So, again, it depends. Like, I believe I'm definitely up there. Like, I believe I'm not the best at everything. I'm not the best at almost anything. But what I am is I'm the best at putting things together, making things work, making the crowd feel. So, if you asked me how I feel I stand in my company, I'm as crazy as the character difference of the person is, I'm not the kind of person to say, "Oh, I'm the best. I'm amazing. I'm so good." So what I would say is, I think I'm definitely one of the best, top 3, easy. But I'm not the kind of person to say I'm the best. I don't know. I don't know who would be the best. But yes, good question.
Yeah, it's like a hard one to answer, and I don't think I appreciate that compliment, Gizmo, but if you're going to talk about bumping, Steve Engstrom is the best of any of us in our league. The guy I wrestled, Mr. X, he could bump. You could put Mr. X in there with a crash dummy, and he'll put the crash dummy over. He was that good. So I was good, but I wasn't as good as he was. If you're looking at it that way, so yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough question. Now, here's a question from a friend of mine, Travis Wilkes. He's a friend of mine here in Utah, and he says, and he's just, I expect to hear this from him. I can't see a world where Crusher wins.
I almost always agree. The booker in me thinks it would be best for Crusher to win that if it was in NWF. The same way I think if it was here, it would be best for me to win. Unless you want to keep the story going, because the hate the other person would get for winning the title and the other person's promotion would be crazy.
Right. All I know is if I booked us a match back in this timeless universe that we've been talking about, it would be in the thinking of a continuation. So that's why I did what I did. That's why I did the time limit draw with him really winning, but it's a draw, so it just begs for a rematch. So, and if you have a really good seesaw match, I'm thinking like those kind of like those Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat matchups. If you have a really good back and forth match, people don't care who wins. Oh. It's not even it's like, who gives a shit? That was such a good match. And that's the kind of match I'm talking about. Yeah.
For me, I don't think you should ever care who wins in a wrestling match, especially if you're the guy backstage. If you're the guy backstage who's gonna,
as long as it's not a squash, as long as you're not just completely just a squash job. Well, and you're wrecking your gimmick.
Who you are. You have to know your place in the card. Like, if you're still a new guy breaking into business and you're like, okay, you're a new guy, you're 5'6", this guy's 6'8", 300 pounds. He's gonna, beat you up tonight to put him over. You should be okay. Yeah, sounds good. If you're a new guy, you're breaking into business. But
well, I'm talking about like more established, like when you're
for more established
with yourself right now.
You need to know where to draw a line, but always remember where you came from and who your booker is. Because for me, I would almost never tell, like Nathan, for example, I would never turn to him and be like, "Are you serious? Like, that's a terrible idea." I'm not gonna lie. I've told him his ideas are terrible at times, but I would always go follow through with them because again, that's what you have to remember. Respect.
Yeah. First of all, when the promoter's in charge. So what he and the booker, I know that Nathan's doing it all for you guys, but when you have, like when I worked with Eddie Sharkey, Eddie was the promoter, Ray was the booker, and Ray would decide these things. But whoever the booker is, like that, you do what they tell you to. I'll never forget Troy Steenerson and I when I had my last match with Eddie Sharkey. It was a chain match, and of course Troy wanted a juice for this because it's a chain match. It's a Russian chain match. You got to have blood with a chain. And Eddie found out that Wally Carbo, legendary promoter, and Elders, all these AWA guys were out in attendance, and he's like, I don't want to have you young kid juice. And like Troy was 18, but he's young. Because I don't want to do this in front of these guys. This isn't right. No juicing. No blading. And Troy was pissed. And when I got there, Troy's like, he doesn't want me to juice. This is going to look like shit. He goes, I'm going to do it anyway. Fuck it. I'm going to do it anyway. I said, Troy, if you juice when he told you not to, you'll never work here again. I said, don't mess it up. Don't do what he says. I had to talk him out of it because he was mad. He wanted,
People get like that all the time.
He wanted
to see him.
I get it. You got to have blood. So what I did, I said, Troy, let's just give him something else. I told Troy, I said, Troy, put the chain around my neck and just catapult me and pull it back, and I'll kind of sell it. I remember watching Bobby Heenan do this, and I thought I could do that. Jesus, Ricky, that's a metal chain around my neck. When he did that, I never practiced this. I thought I broke my neck because he yanked it back so hard, and I'm holding on to it, and I kicked my feet up like a drop kick, like he took me off my feet. That was rough.
It's funny you mention that because again, I can get like that as well. I can always like wrestling's a very emotional sport, especially for like someone who deeply cares about it. So when you're telling me that, you can tell the guy cares about what he's doing in the ring.
Yeah.
He cares a lot, and you get so emotional at times over wrestling. Like at our last show, I'm not going to disclose names, but at our last show, we had a guy who was told, "Yeah, bro, you're losing tonight," and he was livid. I know. Again, I can't say too much because we'll probably give away who it was, but the person was in a position where they're kind of right. They shouldn't have been in the losing situation. They should have been going over in this match. But yeah,
and they got upset about it.
They were not happy that they were losing, but a couple of people talked to them. They actually turned to me at one point like, I'm not getting in my gear. I'm not getting in my gear. I'm not doing this shit. And I was like, bro, think about it, bro.
I know in the indie scene there's a little bit more pride, but nowadays, like Bobby Heenan always said it best. If you're in this for anything more than money, you're a fool. What he meant by that is it doesn't matter what you do. It's a matter of making money. So if somebody says you can be champion, but you're going to make $500 less, and the guy says, I want to be champion. I don't care. I'll take $500 less. You're a fool. So it's like, that was the mentality back then. You're in it to try to make what you can out of it. So Travis has another comment, and there's your cat. I see. Yep. Canary has to win the first match. You build the story, then bring it home. There's so much you can do with it, but Canary has to win the first match. So in his opinion, promoter Travis says you have to win the first matchup.
Well, I think it can make sense. If I was the one coming to NWF and I take the belt, we have that bit of a, Crossen having like, I need to get this belt back. I need it for like these people. Have that whole thing. Even have like a little bit of a story of the people backstage turning on Crossen. They're like, you lost us our title. You could do a lot with it. Like there's a lot of places you could go if you did it that way. I was just thinking if it was a one match wonder and we had to do it one way, just one match and nothing to build on after that, I would just have it let Crossen win at NWF and retain his title and crowd go crazy for it. I think it would get a good pop.
Yeah, and the thing is, here's the deal too. Face chasing the heel is always the biggest draw. So like if you have your champion as the heel and the face is going to chase him, that always goes over better than the other way around. Mm-hmm. So, I know Hogan had his thing in the 80s where he was the champion and that worked, but that was Hogan's a whole different element in the 80s.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's a situation though where your champion's a heel. It's going to create more draw. It's going to create more heat, and they're always being chased. Sky Sports Video News says, Crusher, this is a serious question, okay? Back in the 1980s, AIDS blood disease first came out. Did this stop people in the company from blading after AIDS came out? First of all, the blading thing, I just want to make this real clear. we never bladed in the NWF until the dry dock once I sold the league to Ernie. So I wasn't even running the league anymore. I was just doing the television stuff for it. And I was 18, and the rule was you had to be 18 or over. So I just want to make sure that people don't get misconstrued here. There were no kids blading. I don't want people to think that for us. Secondly, no, we didn't. Yeah, I heard about AIDS. I remember hearing about it, but it was such a rarity story that I never thought twice. We never even thought twice about that as a concern back then.
Did you ever hear the story of Abdullah the Butcher?
Yes, he caught supposedly gave his disease to.
Yeah, he gave. So for those who don't know, I'll fill you in quickly. So Abdullah the Butcher, if you don't know who Abdullah the Butcher is, get out of the rock you're living under. But Abdullah the Butcher was basically a hardcore wrestler back during Crossen's time. Yeah. His whole thing was he had a fork and he used to, do it the hard way, with blade you the hard way with it. And he was working a match with a guy who was very close to being signed to WWE. And
remember his name?
I don't
either. I
feel like I should remember it. I completely forgot.
But it's irrelevant. Keep going.
But yeah, so the guy took the fork and Abdullah allegedly didn't clean his fork, and the guy got hepatitis, failed his blood test for WWE, lost out on the contract and the tryout and everything he was going to get, and that resulted in a lawsuit in which I'm 90% sure the Butcher lost.
I think so. But Abdullah just didn't show up.
Yeah, so Abdullah ended up having to pay a lot of money to this guy. But yeah, so there is a lot of dangers that can come with blading. And there was an incident with The Undertaker and Bob Orton as well, where The Undertaker almost got hepatitis from him. So again, blading's a very dangerous thing. So me personally, I'm all for the idea of doing it when it's right, but it should be in a safe environment. You should know who you're in with, and don't do it if you're like a kid. Like me personally, I wouldn't do it.
Right. There's no need to. Look, we didn't need to do it even. I mean, it was a fad back then. Everybody wanted to do it because it was like, hey, we can juice now. We're old enough. Let's do it. It was like this rush thing. Like everybody wanted to get in on it, but it's like, you don't need that. A good match doesn't need color like it used to back in the 70s and 80s, like they were so big on that back then. But
no, yeah, I get that. Like, but also when you think about it as a fan, another reason why a kid should never do it is, what man or woman, like grown adult, wants to see a child in the ring bleeding? Who wants to watch a child bleed? And if you want to see that, you need to turn yourself into some place. Like, that is crazy if that's what you're like wanting to go and see. No one wants to go see that.
So for us though, to defend the NWF, we had a lot of blood, but it was fake blood. But the reason we were doing it as kids is because we were emulating what they were doing in the business. So like we wanted to have our matches have blood, but it was always safe fake blood. It was never blading.
Yeah, that's the smarter thing to do. But I feel like a good reason on why you probably did that is not just emulating, but from what I've heard from you, you guys struggled to gain respect from people. You've got the backyard moniker thrown at you. You've had a lot of things thrown your way. So, you're probably really trying to live up to, defy expecentations.
Well, actually, though, Rick, the backyard talk came after. Like that's when I wrote my book. In that, when we were doing the show, there was no backyard, so there was no backyard to compare us to. Nobody criticized this, so but no, so it wasn't. That backyard talk came up when I wrote my book and documentary, and people didn't know what they were looking at, and they thought, oh, this is backyard wrestling. They didn't realize what the hell they were, looking at. And watching. They didn't realize it was from 20 years earlier. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the whole blading thing. It's not. In fact, I don't even write about the blading in my book. I just didn't want that in there because I knew kids were going to read it, and I didn't want them to know about what I did and all that. I left that story out of the book. So
yeah, that's probably for the best. So kids, stay away from sharp objects and don't involve it in your wrestling.
It just wasn't. It just didn't fit the theme of my book, so I just felt to leave that out.
Yeah.
But that's a Sky Sports, I think you've asked about that before too. I remember answering that, but that's a good question.
Yeah. Smart.
I think I still had another question from Keaton that I didn't get. Let me just make sure.
Yeah, make sure. So, good morning, Keaton.
Oh
Or
yeah,
good
this is
afternoon,
we
Keaton.
talked about it a little bit, but I'll bring it in. Who got the most attention from the ladies between Canary Kid and Crusher?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the time to answer this. As shocking as it may be to some of you, as shocking as it may be to some of you, the Canary isn't much of a ladies' man. Let's just put it like that. So yeah, I would probably say Crossen is more of the ladies' man. Not that he got a lot, but one lady being interested would have been more than me. So good job, Crossen.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, there wasn't a lot of lady wrestling fans back then. And Fawcett's gonna, or my friend Travis, I call him Fawcett. That's his gamer tag. He's gonna say Crossen can neither one. He'd probably say neither one of us. That he would be the one that would get the most attention if I had to answer for him.
Oh, and I've just cut him off mid-comment. He was typing that, and then you said, "I was like, oh."
But no, I mean, the only time I remember this even being a thing is we had a talk show, and it was one of these call-in talk shows. It was actually live over cable, and people would actually call and have questions for us. And I was up on there with, and this girl called. And she's like, "Who's the kid? They didn't know." And she must have just tuned in. She's like, "Who's the one on the right?" And it was me. And I go, they go, "Oh, that's Crusher." And they said, "Oh," she goes, "Does he have a girlfriend?" She asked. And I'm thinking, get a number. I want to see who this is now. I'm curious.
Oh my god, of course.
That actually came in on a phone call on a live show.
That's so funny.
That's about the only time I remember anything.
He's hot. That reminds me of the WCW hotline.
Yeah.
It used to exist. That reminds me of that. So you did it probably first as well. So that's kind of cool.
And then Fawcett says he was listening. He says facts.
Oh, of course he did.
But yeah, so that was it's an interesting concept. But I thought we had to have something to talk about. This is kind of Ricky's introduction show this week, kind of an introductory as the new co-host. We're gonna have to get that thing fixed though, Ricky, because when we watch Mitch next week or the next show, we got to have you be able to watch his matches and stuff. So we got to get that figured out
during the week or weekend. That's every day, and we'll just get into the studio and try and sort some things out.
So Damien's got a question here for you.
Oh, lovely.
Ricky, do fans ask for your autograph after matches, and do you like it?
It's not right. So when I work at the Lions Den, so where you saw me in Halfdan wrestling, we go in front of 55 old people. That's the most we can fit in that place, right? And I love.
That's where you train, right?
Yeah, I love working there. But it is very, very rare that I get asked for autographs at all from there. It's very rare that I even get asked for a photo there because everyone just knows me. It's just a community. Everyone knows me.
Yeah, it's the same fans over and over, right?
Yeah, it's like going up to your neighbor. Anyway. It's like going up to your neighbor and asking them for your autographs. Everyone just knows me outside of my character as well. But when we tour, we get a lot more autographs, a lot more selfies. And to answer the second part of the question, Damien, it is my favorite thing to do. I love signing autographs and taking photos with fans because it makes me feel important. Like, because I remember when I was younger, if I was going to like a wrestling show, I remember I always used to want to get an autograph. I always used to want to get photos with guys. Like, that used to be my dream. If I ever heard someone like getting an autograph from a wrestler, I was like, "What? You got an autograph from a wrestler?" Even though it was some nobody I'd never heard of, I think it's cool. So it's like getting the opportunity to kind of brighten someone's day. Right now we autograph, and it's also fun to kind of look cool, like just my little Sharpie and just being like, oh, have that little flick and all. Like it makes me feel a little bit more important, and I have so much fun. It's like a dream come true over and over again every time I have to do it. I love it.
Yeah, it's like it's a kind of feeling that makes you feel good,
Yeah,
because you feel like that people are giving you attention. So it's like, and that's how I felt when I would get these moments, where they'd come up and want your autograph. And we didn't use Sharpies back; it was just pens. But
yeah,
but I mean, and I never turned down an autograph ever. Like anytime somebody asked for one, I'd always do it. So it's usually kids.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I usually get it from kids as well, but the odd time it's so fun when like a grown man comes over and you're like, "Yo, can you sign this?" I'm always like, "Of course, bro." But like I have like a demeanor that when Keaton, you're watching this tomorrow, hi. I don't know if he's noticed it, but I hate when I'm in I don't hate it, but I find it odd when I'm in like a queue, so we sometimes do meet and greets when we go to bigger shows where we're all sitting in the ring. Kids will go like line up, people will line up and come to each wrestler and like we'll talk to them and say and stuff. We'll go talk to them quickly
Yeah.
and then they'll go on. But see, I have a thing where I do with like younger fans, which are usually the fans I'm doing this for. Oh, who was your favorite wrestler? You know, before I send this, who was your favorite wrestler? Because I need to know before I send this that it's me. Because I don't send it if it's not me. So let me just ask. I have a lot of trick with them. Oh, okay, and I talk to them. Did you enjoy the show? Like I just talk away to them. As soon as like a grown person, like a grown man, or like a person my age comes over, like asks me to sign something, I immediately have to change because I'm not gonna go. Who was your favorite wrestler? And they're like, yo, bro. I'm just so every time like I'll be like, oh, who's your favorite wrestler? And then I'll just see like some of my age going up, like, all right, man. Did you enjoy the show? Class. Yeah. All right, see you later, man. Yeah, see you, bro. Hi, next person. But like, for them, it must seem really dry. I don't know what to say to them because they're the same age. I mean, it feels weird to go all happy and joy because then it looks like.
And it can be awkward. I know that that I've told this story before with on Rewind, but when I did my only Broadway ever did with that guy that we watched tonight, Mr. X, we did a Broadway at the Anoka Armory, and Broadways are never exactly 60 minutes, but it was damn close. And I was dead, and I because I'm running the show, so I just went up to the concession stand after the match, and we didn't have bottled water, so I just asked for soda, and this guy in his 30s came up to me. I didn't know who he was, and he just come out with his hand, wanted to shake my hand and say, "Hey, that was really good. I just wanted to let you know that was one of the best matches I've seen in a long time." He was just complimenting me. I don't think it was his best match he ever seen, but he was making me feel important. And I was bummed out that night because we only had 50 people in there, and so I wasn't happy to begin with. But the guy really brought me up to it, made me feel good because of that. But it was awkward. It's like a 30-year-old guy is like impressed with what I did at 16 years old. It kind of felt awkward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it felt like
Yeah.
I'm not used to this. Like you're used to kids coming up to you being like, "That was so cool," and you're like looking at this guy like, "Oh yeah. Like it's something different." But like for me, when I get like a grown fan coming up to me and liking me, I'm like, okay, this isn't like naivety of a child just being happy to be at a wrestling show. You actually enjoyed what I did. Like I appreciate that. Like I appreciate it a lot. I appreciate all my fans. But when I have an older fan come up to me and be like, "Yo, I really liked what you did," I'm like, "Damn, I must have been good," because older fans are so much harder to cater to than a younger fan. A younger fan, you do either something their hero did. If I go into a match, that's what I love about my finishing move being a dive and RKO, basically, because every kid knows the RKO, so they see a cooler version of it. They're going to be like, "Wow!" But so you do something their hero does, they're going to love it. Or if you just come out with some sort of fun character, they're going to go up, right?
Yeah.
But for an older fan, you need to be ticking every one of their boxes.
Especially a diehard fan who's really like looking for quality,
That reminds me of a funny story. So this is so off topic. It's kind of off topic. So we were running Malone, and it was the night of me and John for the first ever time junior heavyweight title match. Match has been shown here more than once, and it was so exciting. Everyone had the thrills. Like all the fans, like were so excited. As soon as fans came in, we played like our hype video for, like, so everyone knew what was happening. Here's the thing: the setting for the backstage area in Malone is. There's like a backstage gym, which is great. I love the backstage in Malone, it's awesome. But there's a backstage gym, locker room 1, and then upstairs is locker room 2, right? So there's 2 locker rooms. Then there's a double like set of fire doors, and then it's the toilets. We have the same toilets as the fans, and I kid you not, I walk into. I'm going to actually grab this, right, because I need this for the story. So I walk into the bathroom, right, and this is when I had my flashy blue gear like this.
Yeah.
And I walk into the
ones
bathroom.
that ripped in the crotch.
Yes. So I walk into. This wasn't in this moment. So I walk into the bathroom. I'm in the like cubicle, but I'm in my full wrestling gear. The show hasn't started yet, but I'm obviously already in my gear, and I'm main event. So I have to sit in my gear for so long. Which is, by the way, off topic. The worst thing about being a wrestler on a show: if you're a main event, you're in your wrestling gear, sitting in that gear for so long is very boring.
Yeah.
But, so I'm in my gear and I'm in this toilet, and all of a sudden I see below the cubicle a guy walk in and with suit shoes on. And I was like, this is just some indie show. What is this guy dressed for? And I get out and it's just literally a guy in his 20s in a tuxedo, right? I noticed they were all in the front row at the show as well, by the way. So I think it was like some sort of a wedding joke or something, like maybe for like a stag, or like they just decided to have a joke by all dressing fancy, like for a joke. Like it was a bunch of like young guys, they were like 20s, and as I walk out of the cubicle, I just see his eyes go, "Hi." I was like, "Hi," as I'm like adjusting my like wrestling tights, and he goes to go in the cubicle, and as soon as he goes to go in, I realized I left this in the cubicle because I took it off, and I just, as soon as he goes to close the door, I was like, and he's like, "Open." He's like, "Yes." I was like, "See that like blue like and yellow stripy frilly thing that like matches this one that I'm wearing? Could I have that back, please? Like I need that." And he's like, "Oh yeah, okay." And I give it to him, and I couldn't wash my hands, and he gets out. And we have a look at each other, like an awkward look, and he just goes, "Good luck, time." I was like, "Thanks." Like walk away. I was like, "That is so weird that we have to share a toilet with fans," and I almost left this in the cubicle with him.
You had to knock on the door to get back.
I was
You
like,
left
"Yeah,
you left your feathers in the cubicle.
exactly," and I wasn't going to be flying anywhere without those feathers. Still lost, but you know.
So here's a question now from Travis, and see what you think of this. As you two have gotten to know each other, is there anything that both of you enjoy or may be good at that you may be able to compete against each other in present day?
Well, there's one bit of competition that is only competed on by one of us, and that's me. And I didn't initiate this, and I hate that it's happened because I'm under pressure. But Crossen keeps rubbing it in that he's a 5-time champ and I'm only a 1-time champ, and he keeps telling me, "You need to become a 5-time champ. You need to do it 5 times."
I
So
have
now,
brought it up, guys.
yes, more than once.
Yeah,
So now
in private conversations even.
yep. So now it's out there. Now the competition for me is, Nathan, if you're watching, please let me win it 4 more times in like 4 months. I'll just keep winning and losing.
It's hard to be a 5-time anything these days in wrestling.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the bit of competition we have, and it's funny. I think it was me and Ben Nelson were talking about it, and I said to him, I was like, or it was me and John. I think it was me and John. Me and John were talking about it, and we both agreed that we think one day, we'll just like go against Nathan's plan on a show and wait till like one of us are champion, and then just run out, have an impromptu quick match, have the other person winning, and then just keep losing and winning back and forth in the same night. Just keep losing and winning until we're both 5-time champs.
And this is something that you two talked about, huh?
Oh yeah,
You
we
really,
spoke about it.
you know, I guess I gotta say, Crusher Crossen coming out now. You know, I'm listening to this and I'm hearing these conversations that I don't even know about. And you know what it is, everybody? I think what it is Ricky Henry, aka the Canary Kid. He just is trying desperately to be like Crusher. He's trying to become what I was at the time. He's desperate. He's losing sleep over it, ladies and gentlemen. They're talking, John and him are talking and waking up in the middle of the night and trying to figure out how to get the title 5 times. He can't study at school for a test because he's got it in his mind. And you know what it is, Canary? That makes you a Crusher Crossen wannabe. That's what we got here. A Crusher Crossen wannabe. And I'll say this, Fawcett, Travis, to answer that question. If there's something I'm good at in competition-wise, I may be over the hill. If we had a match today, it would be to put the kid over. I wouldn't be winning it. I guarantee you that.
Oh, I know you wouldn't.
But I don't think I would want to do a whole match. But if there is one thing I could do that I know I'm better at than him, even at this age, is my flying drop kick. I could make that thing look pretty picture perfect. Even in the shape I'm in right now, I could still get up and do it. It's like riding a bike, you guys. And Ricky knows this. You don't forget these things. So there.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, I've given you the floor.
Yeah, you were right. I am a Crusher Crossen wannabe because I've always wanted to know how it feels to be in the slums of the wrestling business and being a nobody. Because obviously I get all this popularity. I can't even walk outside my house without Canary. So I'd love to know how it feels to live a normal life and walk outside the house and have everyone go, "Who's that old nobody? And where is his caretaker? Who let him outside the house on his own?" So yeah, you're right. I've always wanted to know how that felt. But not for more than like an hour. After an hour, I think I get very bored and want to go back to the high life, But yeah, you can live your little dream of thinking that, I'm losing sleep, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Yeah, the only thing I'm losing sleep over is I'm worrying, am I going to wake up tomorrow and am I going to have a co-host, or is like old age just going to hit him like a ton of bricks and he's going to have to go in a nursing home? So that's the only thing I'm worried about.
Yeah, I know. I can see now going forward with NWF Forward, I'm going to get all the old jokes. I'm going to get all the old talk. That's going to be Canary's defense here. He's going to keep hitting me up with that. And that's okay. That's okay, because you know what? With age comes wisdom. And
But with age does not come beauty, as you can see by this wrinkled up raisin sitting beside me here.
see, now Fawcett's, I think he wants to be your manager. He says, Canary, this is where you say challenge accepted. I think he's trying to look for the piss and vinegar and a little bit of fire under you.
I think Travis has a great idea, but as I have stated many, many times, I'm not going to be the one who leads to the passing of Crusher Crossen due to him not being able to keep up. So, and I don't want to have to, put him back in the retirement so quickly. I'll let him have a bit of a run, and maybe he can get a couple wins against some other schmuck kids who don't have what I have. But when it comes to me and you, it's not fair. I'm always going to come out on top.
And then Janae's being funny with words. He says, or she says, Canary had a crush on Crossen. Get it? Crusher Crossen.
Can Janae get out? Can we get Janae out of here? Janae has to be the worst view I ever had on this show in my Sleepy Joe. Okay, I personally think Janae is the greatest commenter we've ever had on this show. Janae?
Yeah.
Applause. Sleepy Joe indeed. You are just another Sleepy Joe. You don't even know where you are right now, right? I'm pretty sure behind you right now, I think you've put up your belt that you used to hold up your trousers as well. Like I think you've put your pants belt up there. Like you don't know what you're doing.
And I gotta agree with Sports Video Crusher. If you buy a Canary a pacifier, you can shut them up for hours. And it just so happens we had those things. The hell was the name of it? Minnesota, they made those things. It was like a whole plant. So if I was in Minnesota, I'd have an ample supply of them too. Pacifier. Yep. I don't think you like that one too much, huh?
Sports Video, you disgust me, okay? Get that comment off, right? Next one. Go back to Janae. Get Janae a question.
It says Janae nailed it with Sleepy Joe Crossen.
See, makes out the Sleepy Joe.
Let me tell you about, and Travis is saying this because he is personally jealous. He's jealous he never got to get in the ring with me back in the day. And this goes back for years, Canary. You don't know the whole story here, but yeah. Besides, I'm always better at gaming than he is too, especially Halo. He knows it.
Gaming?
Yeah, with Halo. Like that's how I met him.
Is Halo. What games are you playing?
Talking Halo. This is like, you're not a gamer, so you wouldn't know what we're talking about.
What we doing? Like seeing who could throw the rock the furthest, see who could kill like the more dodo birds.
Well, maybe that's how they play games in Northern Ireland, but I'm talking about like video games, Halo.
You know what that is?
What's that?
I thought that was before your time. I thought you used to play like chess back in your time. Or something. I don't know what you used to playing. And I don't know.
You're not going to make a lot of fans insulting them like that.
Who needs fans? I have myself. I'm my cat. That's all I need in life.
Well, guys, let me tell you what we have coming up on the next NWF Forward in 2 weeks from now. Actually, before I get to that, let me just say what's coming up Sunday on Kayfabe with Keaton first. When we do Kayfabe with Keaton, it's going to be Eddie Stone, Stephen Carvel, and Blake Richards, the Standard from Titanic Wrestling. Supposedly the best heel faction they have, and we're going to be having them on Keaton's show on Sunday. Should be a fascinating interview. We'll show some footage and everything. Learn about these guys. Should be a good show. Looking forward to that. And then on the next Rewind in a week from now, Dixie Dave will be back with me, and we're going to be looking at studio taping 39 from the garage days. So early stuff again, everybody. And by the way, thank you for everybody. We had about half a dozen people join our video network this week. So I want to, if you're out there watching, thanks for joining. I appreciate that. Every time you join the video network, it helps support this channel. It helps support the live streams. It helps support all the software we need for all this stuff. So I just want to make a shout out there. And then our next show with this guy, me and him, Canary Kid. When we come back in 2 weeks, we're going to have a fascinating interview. I'm really looking forward to this. Full Tilt Wrestling's Mitch the Kid. And very similar between Canary Kid and Mitch here. I got to say, you guys started out similar, young, started out, and you both trained for the juniors. Like he trains in the juniors as well for the junior program. He's like a trainer.
Oh.
So he's similar to you that way. You guys are both junior heavyweight champions, and you both, I want to say, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you both lost it in the same style of a match. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
I'd have it, you zip it, okay? But the biggest similarity I'm seeing here is that, I don't know if you've noticed this, but it's not my current photo that's up there, but one of the photos you had up earlier. Me and Mitch are doing the exact same pose.
Are you really?
Yeah, if you go back.
Oh, that's right. You do have a picture. Yeah. Yes, that's right. I know the picture you're talking about. Yeah.
The point to the back.
Well, he gave me a bunch of them to choose from, but I thought this one fit the thumbnail better. But yeah, that's crazy. And you seen. I showed you a little bit of this. You watched one of his matches, I think, and you thought,
yeah, the kid's got talent. I like the kid.
Yeah, I think you said he kind of reminds you of a kind of a Bret Hart style.
Yeah, he gives me that kind of vibe.
Yeah. Not that he's Bret Hart, but
he's better.
He's from England, over there in UK. So honestly, a matchup between Canary Kid and Mitch the Kid, the Battle of the Kids, this could happen.
More likely than you think, yes. And I'd love to do it.
Yeah, shit. I mean, you guys are close.
We'll see how this interview goes.
Yeah, we'll have fun. It's going to be a great interview. Let's learn about him and their promotion and everything like that. We got to get that thing fixed though, so you can see the footage.
Oh yeah, I really want to see Mitch.
Yeah, figure out what happened there. That was a first though. It usually doesn't screw up like that.
Yeah.
So
usually we're fine.
Let's see. I know when I missed the comments they rolled by, but Fawcett was like, he wants to give him a mic. He needs to get on the show. He needs to get on there when we were talking, when you were ripping on him on the gaming.
Oh gosh.
And then Janae's giving me more, saying I love the bingo.
Oh,
yes, all the old talk. And even somebody on the YouTube channel called me UNC, UNC. They referred to me as UNC. I had to look it up to see what exactly that meant. I'm going to ring that. I could wring that person's neck. Let me say whoever that was out there.
That's my generation.
Yeah, that's definitely your generation. Let's see. And then, let's see. Travis says this. He goes, speaking of Mitch the Kid, he goes, Crusher manages Mitch. I manage Canary for a match. Make it happen. And we'll bring it over here to the United States on U.S. soil and make it equal. So there's no favoritism.
Well, here's the thing. Then I feel bad for Mitch because then he's getting an anchor tied to his leg and bringing him down with Crossen. Meanwhile, I've got Travis, who seems to have a great mindset. So he's just pushing me up and up, which it's going to be hard because I'm already touching the ceiling. So it's like kind of like tilting my neck a bit to get up a little bit more. But yeah, it'll be unfair on Mitch.
Janae wants to know too, what was Mitch's age? And we'll find that out on the interview because I don't even want to guess, but he's very close to the same age as Ricky. I would say within a year or two.
Yeah.
And then Fawcett says, Canary speaks the absolute truth.
Nothing but the truth.
Well, I tell you something, it's getting late for Ricky. He's got school tomorrow, I imagine. So we're probably going to have to wrap it up. But that's why we're doing Forward earlier now, just so that he can make it and stuff. And we still got to get more guests lined up, though, Ricky. I know we got Mitch the Kid coming up, and I'm working on getting Tank in here as well. And then I'm going to reach out to Bodie, but I got to go over some dates with you to find out when you're off on a Friday in the next few months, so we can kind of work that, where we can do that one a little later.
Yep.
Yeah, as we talked about, because I don't think I can get Bodie. He's in Vegas, and that would be he'd be in school when we start the show. So. But yeah, I'm going to get Bodie Young Prodigy on again. I know these two could go have fun with that show, and because they both love talking in characters, so that would be a good one to get Bodie in here.
You're talking about?
What's that?
What character? I am me.
Well, it was very interesting. But for those of you, like I said, Nathan's protecting him as he should. He has to protect his investment.
He has to protect Crossen. It's not safe to have a geriatric old brittle man in the ring.
I like Fawcett's idea better, where I can just manage, give my expertise to Mitch. He'll give his kind of expertise to you, and then we'll see what happens.
You want to manage? You can't even manage to make it up the stairs without assistance, and you're looking to manage another person?
Oh,
That's a
boy.
terrible idea,
Oh,
Crossen.
boy. And on that note, folks, I think we're going to bid you farewell for this show. This is a great show. It was a great introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, the Canary Kid, you see his links below. Follow him on Instagram. Keep track. He always puts updates here and there. And of course, you see all our social links. And if you aren't subscribed to our Instagram link, you guys, you're missing out because we post lots of stuff. Yeah. I'm always putting stuff on Instagram, at least to kind of help promote these shows. So you're missing out if you're not on our Instagram. So make sure you subscribe to all of our stuff. But yeah, it's been a fun show. I've enjoyed it. Do you have fun then?
I personally had a lot of fun. You know, it could have been better if it was on my own, but you know, it was as good as it could have been with you here.
So, ladies and gentlemen, next 2 weeks then, Mitch the Kid. And hopefully he doesn't insult Mitch like he insults me. And
No,
we
I have
actually...
respect for Mitch. He earns respect.
He had respect for me at one time too, but as soon as you start talking smack to the Canary Kid, all of a sudden you're his enemy. So...
Yeah, you got it right. Just watch your mouth. How about that?
All right, folks. Have a good night. We will see you, and I'll see you in a week. Well, actually, I'll see you next Sunday. This is coming Sunday with Keaton. Then I'll be back in a week with Dixie Dave, and then 2 weeks with Canary Kid again for another rewind.
Schedule. Yep.
All right. We will see you next week, folks.